At number 10. Guys, I hate to break it to you, but there is no rib in the McRib. Is that false advertising? Like, I think so. Despite the name of the popular sandwich among meat lovers, the McRib isn't actually made of any rib at all. It's actually pork pressed in a rib-shaped mold, which is so gross if you think about it. Delicious, but fattening and totally fake. Coming in at number 9, the drive-thru gets priority. If you walk in at the same time a car drives in, the car passenger will be served first and get their meal first. The drive-thru meals are a priority. While staff don't mind making diners wait, they don't want to make cars wait. The reason for this is that there's usually limited drive space in a McDonald's and they don't want to clog up the parking lot or the road. Sometimes it makes more sense just to walk through the drive-thru, although they might get annoyed about that, but who cares? You need your fake McRib right now. Coming in at number 8, most of the staff are not earning a living wage. A living wage is a wage that people can live on with reasonable comfort, meaning that they can pay their rent and buy food, and then have a tiny little bit left over for luxuries such as clothes and travel. McDonald's workers are paid an absolute pittance. I guess it's hardly a secret that fast food workers don't get a lot of money, but it's kinda kept under wraps how bad it really is. For example, it would take a McDonald's worker between 7 to 10 months to earn what a CEO does in 1 hour. Coming in at number 7, burgers are thrown out every 10 minutes. Yes, there are people starving in some parts of the world, and yes, perfectly good burgers are discarded every day at McDonald's. Some stores throw away hundreds of burgers a day and thousands of fries. Burgers are thrown out between every 10 to 20 minutes after production, and for fries, the shelf life is only 5 to 7 minutes. While this is good for customers as it means they'll always get fresh food, it's bad for world hunger. McDonald's are producing a huge amount of food waste and they don't give it to charity. Luckily, good skilled McDonald's workers will try and minimize this waste by accurately predicting how much to make at one time. Coming into number 6, there are a lot of chemicals in the food. The foamy egg patty that you get in an Egg McMuffin also contains sodium phosphate, monosodium phosphate, nisin preparation, and citric acid. The salads are dusted with propylene glycol to keep it crisp. Now this chemical can also be found in antifreeze and lube. This really is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to McDonald's menu items too. There's a whole load of stuff in there. So speaking of all of those hidden chemicals, coming into number 5, your meal will look the same in 10 years time. Creepy! Fresh foods such as apples will decompose in a matter of days, but when it comes to McDonald's foods, yeah, that's still not gone in 10 years. A Reddit user posted a picture of a 10-year-old burger and fries from McDonald's in 2016. The food isn't moldy or decayed at all, it just looks a bit dry. Why is this? Well, because there's so much salt in McDonald's food that it will not rot like normal food, which is really disconcerting because you're putting that in your body. The Reddit user Stand Back Now said that the food hadn't been refrigerated at all. Similarly, get a load of this nugget and fries meal. In 2010, a woman from Anchorage, Alaska bought this meal and left it sitting in her office for 6 years. Yum. Coming into number 4, the salads sometimes have more fat than burgers. Sometimes you think you're getting the healthy option by opting to have a salad, but that may not be the case at good old Mackie D's. According to CBC News, the Keep Calm and Caesar on salad has 730 calories and 53 grams of fat. Now, compare that to a double Big Mac, which has just 680 calories and 38 grams of fat. A standard burger, by the way, has 253 calories and 7.7 grams of fat, so oh my god, that salad is fattening. So why is this salad so gut-busting? Well, it's all down to the Asiago Caesar dressing. Fatty McFat. Coming into number 3, they're brainwashing us from childhood. In 1996, a survey found that 96% of American children could accurately recognize Ronald McDonald. According to an article on Gawker.com, they also have brand ambassadors visiting high schools discussing diets that include McDonald's. On top of that, almost 100% of Americans are able to recognize the McDonald's logo. Whoa. Coming into number 2, there have been some gross findings in McDonald's foods. We've actually made a whole top 10 video about this, so please do check that out when this video is through. I'm gonna give you the highlights for this point. They include a whole deep fried chicken head, bugs, and a scabby band-aid. Finally, at number 1, they warn their own staff against eating their food. McDonald's has built a business on selling fast food, but they don't want their staff members to eat it. Why? because it's a health risk. In December 2013, McDonald's made headlines when a post on their website for employees warned their crew that fast food is very bad for their health. The post said, "Fast foods are quick, reasonably priced and readily available alternatives to home cooking. While convenient and economical for a busy lifestyle, fast foods are typically high in calories, fat, saturated fat, sugar and salt, and they may put people at risk of becoming overweight." They then showed a picture of a healthier option meal which looks decidedly like a Subway meal. It looks just like a Subway and salad, so maybe don't go to McDonald's, go next door to Subway. Coming in at number 10, check out this haunted drive-thru with a screaming sign. Yikes. This short video clearly shows a McDonald's sign screaming and screeching as it shows off the menu. How scary. Uploaded on November the 23rd, 2017 by Prof. Balson, I would have been absolutely terrified if I was the one filming this. Like, listen again. Any ghost hunters watching this, what is this sign saying? Coming in at number 9, imagine being super glued to a McDonald's toilet. That is what happened to this poor 4-year-old. On New Year's Eve 2015, poor Kaya Langmead was left with a red raw bum as she was prized from McDonald's toilet seat. The little girl fell foul of a prank by 2 teenage girls in Exeter in the UK. The teens were later tracked down by police who refused to detail whether or not they'd been cautioned. Kaya's mother Nicole shared images of Kaya's injuries on Facebook. She said that she hoped the pranksters were proud of themselves. A lot of the scary stories on this list come from the customer perspective, but imagine working at a McDonald's and being confronted by this she-demon at number 8. In 2013, CCTV footage of a woman absolutely losing it over chicken nuggets at a McDonald's drive-thru went viral on YouTube and was watched over 2.6 million times. The footage shows a woman acting like a wild animal and trying to attack drive-thru staff at the restaurant in the USA. She screams, and this is my favorite bit, "Don't make me assume my ultimate form!" And then she tries to climb through the drive-thru window. Like, what is that ultimate form? I'm curious, I want to know. As she's shut out of the window, she continues screaming that she wants nuggets, and then she smashes the drive-thru window. It is pretty intense, and I guess like that would be scary if you were working at McDonald's. You're just there, clocking in your hours, and Satan shows up and wants feeding. Blimey. Coming in at number 7, so where do all the creeps hang out? Oh, the McDonald's washrooms, that's where. Good. On the website Darkness Prevails, a 15-year-old from Scotland shared a story about being at a McDonald's toilet when the door to the main washroom area was opened. Thinking nothing of it, the teen continued to use the cubicle when a head popped over the top. A man leered at them in their stool and complimented them on their body. Creepy and so wrong. My goodness, how scary would this be? Okay, you just pop out for a McFlurry like I'm gonna do later, but instead of enjoying a delicious ice cream, you're caught up in a mass brawl. This is what happened here. In March 2016, a fight broke out at McDonald's in Barking in London. The brawl involved 200 people and involved weapons such as knives and baseball bats with nails in them. One person even had acid thrown in their face, which is terrifying. The riot saw 21 people arrested and 3 police officers injured. I really wonder what the trigger was. I thought we needed like a little break from all this scary and horrible stuff on this list, so I'm gonna bring you a little bit of fun at number 5, although this is terrifying to me. A woman claimed to get pregnant by eating McDonald's. That would be enough to put me off it for life. For life. This is actually a happy story, but for those wanting to remain baby-free for the time being, it's pretty scary. Laura Dixon from Essex had been trying to get pregnant for 10 years. Laura was previously a vegetarian, but as she was struggling to conceive with IVF, doctors advised her to get more protein. So like, I don't really eat meat, and I know that there are loads of ways to get protein in my diet. However, Laura decided to hit up McDonald's, and eventually she did fall pregnant. She craved the fast food more than ever. She put on 75 pounds in 35 weeks by eating 6 meals a day. She then birthed her triplets, Mason, Max, and Mia. 35 pounds and 3 babies though. Literally my nightmare. Okay, now on to the nastier stuff. I hope you're getting ready for this. Up next, this man choked to death at McDonald's as part part of a prank. 29-year-old Darren Bray was on a night out with his friends in Barry, South Wales when he tried to fit an entire 99p cheeseburger into his mouth. Unfortunately, the father of 3 started choking and was unable to dislodge the burger from the back of his throat. He died as his horrified friends watched him. This is a very sad story, and there's a sad lesson here. Don't try and stuff a whole McDonald's burger in your mouth at once. Sadder still, at number 3, we have a robbery gone wrong. In May 1992, 3 McDonald's employees were murdered, and a 4th was left with permanent brain injuries as a result of an attack on their location in Sydney River, Canada. 20-year-old Donna Warren, 27-year-old Jimmy Fagan, and 29-year-old Neil Burrows were killed. Arlene McNeil was left with brain damage when 3 armed robbers stormed into the store. Of the robbers, 1 was wearing a chilling Halloween mask. They claimed that they hadn't planned to use any violence and they wanted quick, easy money. Things obviously took a turn for the worse as they stabbed, beat, and shot 4 of the restaurant workers. Coming in at number 2, we have a murderous cult operating in McDonald's. McDonald's was at the center of a cult killing in Shandong, China. 2 members of the Church of Oh My God, a banned Chinese religion, attacked 37-year-old Wu Shoyan when she refused to join their cult. The cult members then called her evil and kicked and stamped on her head in the fast food restaurant until she died there on the spot. Now, this was in front of restaurant revelers, and can you even imagine that happening while you were trying to enjoy your chips? Finally, at number 1, we have the worst McDonald's killing in history and one of America's most deadly mass shootings. On July the 18th, 1984, at a San Diego McDonald's, a man shot and killed 21 people. 41-year-old James Huberty was responsible for the 7th deadliest mass shooting in the United States history. Reportedly, 3 days before the shooting, he called a mental health clinic, but they failed to return his call. The next day, he told his wife Etna that his life was over and he went out to eat lunch at McDonald's. He then came home, grabbed his guns, and kissed his wife goodbye before heading out to the San Ysidro location. Here, he mercilessly killed 21 people and injured 19 others. This was all before he was taken down by a SWAT team.
Number 10. No ribs in the McRib. Every time it comes back, millions of people storm their nearest McDonald's ready to do anything to just get one taste of the limited time product. I mean, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration. I'm talking about the McRib. I made it sound like Beyonce's nudes leaked. But all temptation aside, there's 0 rib in the McRib. It's a mixture of different pork pieces pressed into a rib shape. So there's probably way more pig butthole and noses than there are pig rib in the McRib. I mean, you should know this the second you bite into it. I've squished Play-Doh in my hands that has more density to it. The McRib is basically what comes out of an easy bake oven produced on an industrial scale. Most people want their meat organic, but McDonald's only serves theirs blended. Number 9. McDonald's versus the rainforest. How do you get that much meat and that many stores all across the world? Well, you need to have thousands of beef farms. Well, how do you get thousands of beef farms? Well, you need tons of land. Well, how do you get tons of land? Well, you cut down the rainforest. In 1994, McDonald's took 2 members of London's Greenpeace to court for making claims that McDonald's was cutting down the rainforest. But after everything was settled in 1996, it turns out that some of the claims against the Greenpeace members were true. It's actually a pretty famous case nicknamed McLibel. Next time you're enjoying a McRib, remember that you're eating a pig's butthole and an orangutan lost his home. Number 8. Poop in your soda. It's summertime, and you know what that means. McDonald's is going to be hitting you with those dollar drinks. So cool and refreshing. I mean, the worst part about it is just the extremely high levels of fructose corn syrup. But wait, there's more. There's a chance that there's a little poop in your drink. A study done in the UK back in 2017 found that 3 out of 10 ice cubes coming from McDonald's had fecal contamination. That means that 30% of the ice in your drink has a little poo-poo in it. Y'all got stinky poop breath not from poor dental hygiene, but because you're drinking somebody's butt juice. If it makes you feel any better, the study tested some other fast food chains and they were even worse. Places like KFC and Burger King had up to 60% contamination in their ice. That's 60% frozen poop cubes. Yum! I hope you're all getting that large tube of poisonous sugar garnished with a stranger's chocolate starfish. Bon appetit. Number 7. The heist. This one's like a secret spy movie or something like that. We all know about Monopoly at McDonald's. It's one of the biggest games that they get people super hyped for while they're stuffing food in their face that gives them pre-diabetes. But there's a little secret scam happening behind the scenes that most of you probably didn't know about. To get the word about Monopoly at McDonald's out across the land, the burger giant was using a marketing firm known as Simon Marketing Incorporated. Head of security at Simon Marketing Incorporated was a man by the name of Jerome Jacobson. He had access to all the winning pieces, and he would take them and send them out to his friends and family, and then after they collected the money, they would give Jacobson a cut. What ended up happening is someone ratted out Jacobson to the FBI, and the whole operation came crumbling down. Dude! Why would you snitch on a guy from stealing from McDonald's? They're the bad guys. You're basically Robin Hood. Number 6, underpaid employees. I mean, this isn't surprising. I would never think that someone working at a fast food chain is rolling in dough. But McDonald's employees working full-time barely make a living wage. And McDonald's is one of the largest employers in the world, right after Walmart. You think with that many McDs running around, they could give their employees enough to feel like they're actually loving it. Not only this, but the jobs are getting replaced constantly by machines. Now when you go to McDonald's, you have an automated cashier so you can order without looking someone in the face. And these machines are replacing all their jobs. I mean, when I think about it, it's kind of a good thing. Who wants to work at McDonald's? If all these jobs are taken by robots, then all the people who used to work there can become poor, struggling artists like the rest of us. Quit flipping burgers and start your YouTube channel that costs you more money than you make off of it. Yay. Number 5, bleached burgers. How does McDonald's crank out so many burgers? Well, for a time, they were using that was known among the public as pink slime. They would take beef trimmings, which is all leftover parts of beef, the guts and butts for lack of a better term. They would soak them in chemicals, most chemicals that are used in like cleaning products, and they would whip it into a Play-Doh-like substance and then press it into patties. Could you imagine your mom making you a home-cooked meal and she's like, hold on, I gotta put a little bleach in it for you. I know my baby loves his bleach. McDonald's has since stopped using the pink slime to make their burgers, but there was a time when you would walk into a McDonald's, you would end up eating a bleached pig's butthole and then drink some poo water. And honestly, after saying all this stuff, I'm still going to get McDonald's next time I'm drunk at 2 a.m. Sorry. Number 4, massive waste. McDonald's is a massive food chain, so that means they naturally produce an insane amount of waste. Every time you go there, you're getting a paper cup, something that your burger's wrapped in, and a plastic straw. Rest in peace, the turtles. They produce enough garbage to fill up the Empire State Building every day. Not only that, they're also throwing away a ton of food. It's estimated that there are 100 burgers thrown away every minute from McDonald's, and that's not even including the chicken products, the fish products, or the fries. I mean, we've established that this stuff is basically poison, so it should get thrown in the trash, but there's people running around hungry, and I'm sure they would prefer to eat McDonald's than nothing. Also, we could just stop McDonald's from getting the opportunity of turning our food into garbage if we stop eating there. But we all know that isn't gonna happen. I would love to get proven wrong on this, but the deeper and deeper we get into this list, the more my McDonald's cravings grow. What's wrong with me? Number 3, animal cruelty. If reincarnation exists, I hope whatever God is in charge of that I don't come back to this earth as a chicken, especially not one that is raised to feed someone at McDonald's. I want to come back as one of those purse dogs, in a really fancy purse, looking down at all the dogs who are forced to walk, and every time I bark, I want you guys to know I'm saying, sucks to suck. But being a McDonald's chicken is far from glamorous. An investigation done by PETA exposed that McDonald's was using hormones on their chickens to make them grow faster. These hormones would also cause organ failure, among a ton of other horrible things. Once they were ready to harvest, they would get hung upside down on a conveyor belt, they would have their throats slit, and then they would have their feathers burned off. Some of the chickens were still alive when they went into the oven to be defeathered. Number 2, McDonald's is the largest toy distributor in the world. Bigger than Nintendo, bigger than Walmart. bigger than Jeff Bezos and his Amazon invasion that will soon take over the world. We all pledge allegiance to the powerful Jeff Bezos. Well, McDonald's has all of them beat. They crank out toys for kids more than anyone else. Why is this scary? Because that means they have a larger influence over kids than any other company. From an early age, we are indoctrinated with the idea that we should be guzzling down Ronald McDonald's goods every time we feel a rumble in our tummy. This is typical brainwashing. Get them while they're young. If I ever have a lady show up my door carrying a baby and she's claiming that it's mine, I will never let it eat McDonald's. Until I'm too tired to make dinner, which will be like 48 hours. Number 1, chicken head. So we know that McDonald's is one of the worst things you can put in your body besides a line of fentanyl-laced cocaine, but at least we know what's inside of it and they're trying to hide it. Well, one time something slipped through the cracks and one unlucky customer got to look at what their food really was. McDonald's was trying to branch out and try a new line of chicken strip style nuggets called Mighty Wings, when Catherine Ortega purchased one of these and found a deep fried breaded chicken head in the box. Ew! Imagine the mummified chicken face staring back at you as a reminder that you should start cooking at home again. So next time you get a pack of nuggets, remember there might be some ground up face in there.